This episode of Coach's Corner brought to you by The Groove Yard, More Than a Rock Store, Divine Hammer Computers, Custom Built Fast Computers, and Advanced Audio Microphone Summerland. We try to mumble our way through an episode of Coach's Corner. We talk about the final 2 games of the regular season. Friday night in Vernon one final time, and then back in Trail on Sunday. Talking All-Stars as well, BCHL pennant race, and more with head coach Fred Harbinson next, because Coach's Corner starts now.
From the Best Damn Sports Bar on Martin Street in Penticton, with our 4th season, this is Coach's Corner. It's the show that brings you insight to the on and off ice action of the 2012 RBC Cup National Champions, the Penticton VEES. Host Fraser Rogers is joined by VEES head coach and GM Fred Harbinson with the Best Damn studio audience for the Best Damn VEES talk. Now, here's Coach Harbinson and Fraser Rogers.
Coach's Corner back on the air here from the Best Damn Sports Bar in Penticton. Episode 19 as we wind down the regular season. Just 2 games left on the VEES schedule in the regular season of 2012 and 13. Let's go back 2 games now and look at last weekend. Games against Trail, home and home. Good news Saturday, the VEES finally got the better of Trail. Hard-fought 5-4 victory. That one, it seemed like your team, I don't know if the score was indicative of how that one went out. Pretty controlling effort from the VEES side of things through 40 minutes. Had a 4-1 lead at one point. Yes, Trail comes back in the third, but you get a late goal from Brad McClure. Overall, were you happy with the way your team played Saturday following Friday?
Yeah, I thought, honestly, I thought it was more of a 5-1 type hockey game. I didn't like, I'll be honest, I thought our goaltending wasn't where it needed to be. And, Chad, we talked about he needs to be better in those situations, and he will be, and we have all the trust that he will be. And, there's been games this year where he's carried us through it. And that one there, I thought we were giving up shots from, outside the scoring area. And it's funny, we've had a lot of funny bounces we've talked about over the last month here, and there was another one when it was 4-2, a bounce off a linesman's skate that gave them kind of a rush, and they capitalized on it. Next, it's 4-3, and I thought that's where the game kind of turned. But after they tied it, I thought we pushed back real well and found a way to get that goal. And I talked to our guys after the game. I thought we played real hard for the whole game, and I think that's why we earned that break back. And when you play hard, a lot of times you'll get that last bounce, and we deserve that win.
A team who's lost to the same team back-to-back games and see the game tied at 4 could just wilt in that situation. You were happy with the way your team kept going and obviously earning that late goal by Brad McClure.
Yeah, absolutely. I just like the way our lines were more balanced with, when Solway back into the lineup after missing the 2. I just, even the Friday night, I thought, the night before, with the exception of the second period, I thought we had a good first and the good third, but the second was lackluster, and the other thing, the last 4 games, our penalty kill has kind of fallen off, and once again, it's, we talked about blocking more shots, and then once again goes back to the goaltending stopping shots that are coming from the point, and so these are things that we addressed and worked on this week in practice, and hopefully tighten up going into the last weekend of the season.
Ask you about the PK in his second from the game. Brad McClure, though, you talked about in the pregame show about these guys bearing down and cashing in on these opportunities that they're earning. Was it good to see him, who's had a plethora of chances the last 2 weeks, score that goal late in that third period?
Absolutely, and when there was the quick transition off a turnover in the neutral zone, and as soon as Brad got the puck, you could see that their goaltender knew the book on Brad. He kind of cheated on the glove side, thinking that Brad was going to go high glove, and Brad had his head up and saw that the play needed to be made to the far blocker side, and he's got such a heavy shot and hit the net with it, and evidently won the game.
Talk about that play. Your team did the homework, though, studying video, noticing that Trail throws a lot of pressure to the puck side, leaves the weak side open, and on that goal, everybody goes to the puck. Sam Meller fires the reverse pass to Brad McClure.
Yeah, absolutely. It was real good execution. As you mentioned, their weak side D had shifted over, and immediately after the turnover, Sammy snapped it over to the far side, and Brad was in the right spot, and penetrated the zone and didn't hesitate at all. He snapped it far side and inside the post.
You talk about the penalty kill, 2 power play goals for Trail in that game. Is it just about getting to those points and blocking the shots? Because both power play goals came right off the opening sequence of those man advantages.
Yeah, a lot of them have been point shots that we've been giving up, and so we've kind of changed some little different things on our penalty kill. And this time of year, it's hard. Like in practice, it's hard to block shots because it beats you up and everything else. But come game time, you have to have the mentality that you're gonna lay down and get big and get in front of the shot lane and force a shot wide or force a shot into your pads or chest or whatever it may be. And it's not the fun part of the game, but it's the part of the game that separates the good from the great. And if you can do that, then you can keep moving forward.
Little things are big going as well into the playoffs for the Vees. A night before, though, last home game of the regular season didn't go the way you wanted to. Is it just about the key not executing 3 strong periods? You talked about a good first, I thought. The good opening goal by Wade Murphy. You talked about the third period push as well, tying the game, but you said that second period might have been the nemesis for the Vees.
Yeah, I thought the special teams were atrocious. I mean, it was like, the penalty kill let us down, our power play completely let us down, and those were, it's not always about working hard, that's about executing. We just didn't make smart decisions with the puck, and you let them hang around, and all of a sudden, you get a chance in overtime, you don't score, they do, and would it really have made a difference if you score the goal? I mean, it's still the same. The first 3 periods are still the same way. You need to execute better and just. I thought, like I said, our second period was a little lackluster and not acceptable.
Is it about just elevating your game this time of year as well? We see like the Trails, the Merits doing against the Vees. Is about just matching that intensity we talked about last week's show as well.
I think it's about not sitting back and waiting for somebody else to do your job. I mean, it's real easy to sit back, for instance, on the decor and wait for Troy Stetcher to do everything, and kind of be a fan and sit there and watch and just get mesmerized by what he's doing. But other guys need to step up and do it, and same up front. You can't rely on 2 or 3 guys, and I think that's something we talked about Saturday morning, and just respecting the game and making sure that. What excites you. That's what we talk about. What excites you to get up in the morning and be part of this. And so there's other teams that are packing up their stuff this weekend and shipping everybody home. So we're not prepared to want to do that. So I think it's very important for these young men to be reminded and understand that. Every game is a privilege, and make sure that you give, put your best foot forward.
Well, it responded nicely Saturday with the 5-4 win in Trail. Also in the process, clinching division for the Vees, the interior division for the second straight year. We'll talk about that after the break, including the hunt for the BCHL pennant. After this, you're watching Coach's Corner from the Best Damn Sports Bar.
Here's a look at the Vees' upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience for another episode of Coach's Corner?
Welcome back to Coach's Corner here from the Best Damn Sports Bar. We're talking All-Stars. The BCHL on Wednesday released its All-Stars for the 2012-13 season. 3 teams. They have the first and second team in each conference, and then they have an all-rookie team. And for the second straight year, the Vees have been on all 3 teams. First and second team in the interior and the all-rookie team. Wade Murphy and Troy Stetcher make the first team in the interior. John Seymour, the second team. And then Brad McClure's on the third team, the all-rookie team, if you will. And no surprises, I guess, when the 4 Vees show up on the list. And no surprises throughout the league. But talk about Wade Murphy. He's the only player from last year that made a first team back on a first team this year. Top 5 in league scoring as well. Leads the Vees, having a pretty solid season with 2 games left.
Yeah, I mean, he's been real consistent for most of the year. And he's kind of did a little bit of everything. He's killed penalties for us. He's... put up a good portion of points, both on the power play, even strength. just did a little bit of everything and well deserved to be on the first team.
Numbers over 70 points, kind of staggering considering there's some stretches he has gone without goals. World Junior A Challenge as well. He's missed a lot of hockey. Goals against point per game average, one of the best in the league. It's second best in the league. Is that impressive how much games he's actually missed in a short season this year, and he's still got over 70 points for the Vees?
Yeah, you know what, I think it was the Junior A Challenge this year was a real tough tournament on all our players, I think, this year, just because of the travel. I mean, It was a different setup where they took off to Calgary, did the camp, and went right from there off to the Maritimes, which obviously is a whole other animal with the major time change. And I think that was not just missing the games, but I think it put an effect on Wade as well as all the other players that returned from that for probably a month.
And Wade Murphy starting to heat up for the Vees as well. Didn't score Saturday, but very good performance, I thought, in the 5-4 win against Trail. Troy Stetcher, no surprises, one of the defensemen on the first team in the Interior Division. Career highs in goals, assists, and already surpassed his point total from last year. Obviously, no surprise seeing number 77 on the list here.
No, there's not many teams I don't think that wouldn't love to have Troy in their lineup. And once again, he's just a well-rounded individual, a great leader. He's a player that we're definitely going to miss after this year. And
definitely a race for him, not just the BCHL pennant, which we'll talk about in a couple minutes, but just a point back of Devon Taves for the BCHL point lead amongst defensemen. That'd be a nice honor for him if he can get that in the final weekend of the season.
Yeah, and I believe Taves is suspended the last 2 games as well, so it gives him a little bit of an opportunity there. And but Troy's one of those players. It's not about himself or accolades on his own. It's about team goals, and I'm sure if you asked him, he'd rather try to get that pennant than worry about a point for himself.
Obviously, defensively, same old Troy Stetcher you see game in and game out. Have you seen a more confident offensive player this year compared to last year? We see him a lot more going in the offensive zone, like that spin move, for example, off the rush.
Yeah, I think like any player, he's growing up right before our eyes. He's when I first met him, he was a young kid, and now he's still young, but he's matured, in so many different ways, not just as a player, but as a person, and he's one of those players that, as an organization, I know as a coach, but our whole organization should be very proud of him, and he's done a lot for myself, for the team, and he'll be one of those players that I know will be successful when he leaves, and he'll be successful at whatever he does outside of hockey as well.
Good leader, and that's why he wears the C for the Vees. Second team All-Star, John Seymour, nice pickup for the Vees at the January 10th deadline. Point per game in 17 games for the Vees. Becoming more of a playmaker, it seems like. Had a nice setup on Friday with Mike Rebry's goal. Should have 3 assists on Saturday. I think they gave 1 to Sam Miller, but the dust settles. Had a very good game. Was a star in the Saturday win. You see a guy who's maybe becoming a bit of a playmaker with his good vision out there, because he was a little bit of a sniper in Coquitlam.
Yeah. Well, Seymour, his best game of the year probably was, could be arguably the Saturday game, and he will get 3 points there. And he could have had a couple more if somebody would have, some other guys would have finished. But you know what? It's been a great process for him coming here and learning to be once again a 200-foot player, and play better away from the puck and all those little details before he gets to college. And he's done that for us. He's a very good kid. He's a kid that wants to win. He wants to contribute and help the team, and we're sure lucky to have him.
Going to Northern Michigan next year, and what about Brad McClure? 27 goals, leads the team. First year junior A hockey. If it wasn't for maybe that shot of his, could have maybe more than just 27. Either it's top corner, maybe just an inch wide. Do you think this guy could have been around 35, maybe that 40 goal if things went his stars aligned? Maybe?
Well, there's still 2 more games. We're playing 4 less games than we did a year ago, and usually. So, Joey Bannock had 30 goals. He's a good scorer, and he's got 27, he said now, I guess. So, he gets a couple this week, and he still has a chance at 30. And so with 4 less games in the regular season, he's one of my favorite players. I think he plays real hard, game in and game out. He's I love his energy. His tenacity along the boards and in the corners in front of the net. He gets to the dirty areas, and he's another player. He's a player that will be back next year with us, and I think he's really growing his game, and he should be a real force in our league for the rest of this year and next year.
Good on the special teams as well, finding a home in the power play and penalty kill for the V's. Complete list, bchl.ca for the BCHL All-Stars announced on Wednesday. We talked about the BCHL pennant in our first segment, kind of previewing that. V's tied with Victoria and Surrey on 75 points going to the final weekend of the regular season. Both teams have 2 games left. That's a big thing. You talked about it in shows past. A big thing to have the BCHL pennant for home ice advantage, but also something to hang in the rafters come season end.
Yeah, well, we've clinched the interior pennant. Now we're trying to get the Ron Boylo Trophy, for the top team in the league, and right now it's in our hands. If we were to win our 2 games, we'd end up with the most wins, and regardless of what Surrey and Victoria do. And I think as far as winning the overall league, I think I could be wrong, but I think it's only about 12 times this organization's done it, and so there's a lot of years that goes back. So it's a special thing. It's something that we can't take for granted. You can't take for granted winning the interior. I mean, it's we talk to our guys about that. Every time a banner goes up, that's something that should be there forever. And when you come back later in life, you'll be able to cherish that. And so we want to win these 2 games for many different reasons. One is we're playing our big rival in Vernon. Some guys, that's their last time they'll ever play Vernon. The second is home ice advantage. For as long as we can play in the playoffs and getting another banner up there. So it's critical that we take this weekend like it's playoff hockey already. And
it's critical because the home ice advantage was big for the V's last year. Good crowds, obviously, very tough place to play. We'll see how that unfolds. But Ron Boylo Trophy, obviously, in grass for the V's, and no team has won it back-to-back since Clippers. I think it did in 2007, 2008. So a big prideful thing for the V's. We're running out of time here. We'll come back, take a break. When we do, it is a weekend preview against Vernon one last time this season and Trail on Sunday one more time. We'll get to that after this. This is Coach's Corner from the Best Ham Sports Bar.
Here's a look at the V's upcoming schedule. Remember, home or away. Follow all the action on Easy Rock AM 800 or online at www.myeasyrock.com. Why not join us next time as part of our studio audience for another episode of Coach's Corner?
Wrapping things up here on Coach's Corner from the Best Ham Sports Bar. 2 games left on the docket for the V's to wrap up the regular season. Friday, though, it starts in Vernon. As we talked about just the last segment, last time for a lot of these players on your team to play the Vernon Vipers that are eliminated from the playoffs. So not just a healthy rivalry, but some bragging rights, I guess, going into the postseason for the V's.
Yeah, you bet. It's like I said, it's always been our city's probably our biggest rival. And over the last 2 seasons, we're 11-2 going into this final game against them. So it's an opportunity to kind of cap off this season, and whenever you get a chance to play against Vernon, you get excited about it, and especially going on the road, going into their building.
Yeah, Vernon, a team have they played better since the deadline? Big win last night in Merritt, obviously, for pride and bragging rights, a 2-1 win there on the road. It seems like since that January 10th deadline, this team's kind of rallied a bit in the last 2 months.
I think they played harder. There's no question about it. I think I think if some guys realize that their jobs are on the line for they're hosting the RBC next year, and I think Jason Williamson, their coach there, has made it well known that it's more of an audition right now than anything for some of these guys, and I think most of those guys would want to that have junior eligibility that are coming back would want to play on a World Bank Cup team. So I think since the deadline they clearly are playing harder, and that's half the battle.
Is it a challenge playing a team that's quote unquote loose, playing out the string so to speak, and not having any pressure maybe on their shoulders, playing at home for the final time?
Yeah, it's their last weekend at home. Some of them are their last games in those jerseys. So they're going to play hard for that, and then like you say, there's no real critical pressure on them. So they get to play loose no matter what the situation of the game is, and so those are dangerous games, but and that's why we're trying to put pressure on our guys to say, like, hey, this is there's enough motivation sitting in front of your nose, and you better be able to find it.
Lots of success in Vernon this year, in the past 2 seasons, in fact. Big fan bus going there tomorrow night as well. What do you want to see from your team off the start tomorrow against the Vipers? Is it all about just setting the tone in that one?
It's just about executing the game plan. I mean, handling the puck, making, not beating the puck up, making sure that you're playing hard against the guy that you're going against. I mean, it's just you don't need instant success. You got 3 periods, 20 minutes at a time, and all the cliches you can come up with, and but it's the truth. We're not here to impress people at this time of year. You're here to win hockey games, and I'm not into this, geez, you didn't play that well, but you won. Well, you know what? I'd rather win ugly than lose looking cute. So it's this time of year, we know how we want to play. We work on it every day in practice. And now it's finding the guys that are going to execute that game plan, game in and game out.
Last night, we talked about Vernon winning in Mare. What did you see on video from that Vernon team you're playing tomorrow?
The only thing I'd say is Vernon tried to do a lot, entering the zone, and they turned the puck over a lot. And so if they do that against us, we need to be ready to jump the other way in a hurry. And, I thought their goaltender played well, Smith. I don't know who they'll play tomorrow night. But, they're a little depleted up front, with only went with 3 lines. And so, we're going to be sitting Cody DePork tomorrow night because has to sit the suspension game either tomorrow or Sunday. We've chosen tomorrow night, and Jordan Volpe will take center on that line and get in there, and he's worked real hard in practice. And other than that, everything else kind of stays status quo. Chad Katner will be in net, and here we go.
Vernon, Penticton tomorrow at 7 from the Westfield Center. Obviously a fan bus. Last second seats are available. Phone the Vees ticket office for details. And then off day Saturday, a nice little break in the schedule, and it's Sunday afternoon in Trail. Going to be a long day, obviously, getting up early to get out there, but it could be a lot of implications. Obviously, Trail, depending on what Salmon Arm does Friday, Saturday, they could be playing for their playoff lives, and that could be a tough one at the Cominco.
Yeah, it's Salmon Arm, has their 2 games first, and they need at least a point. If they don't get them, then it's down to that game. So it's I guess it's a wait and see for Trail, I guess, to see what Sunday brings. If it's an important game or just the final game for them to finish their season. So either way, for us, we know what our motivation is. It's to try to hopefully if we win Friday, to give us a chance to win the league on Sunday. And we'll have to approach it. It's not an early morning if you don't go to sleep. So this time of year, what's the difference?
A late night for the Vees. Is there any expected roster moves maybe with Sunday, or is it just depending on everything goes for the Vees? Any guys you want to give some rest, maybe banged up heading to the playoffs?
No, we'll take the next day off. I mean, it's I guess everything depends on how Friday goes and how what goes on around the league. But like I said before, when you have a chance if you have a chance to win a banner, we are going to try to win that banner. And this time of year we're going short in practice anyway. Our energy level should be good. We'll be taking Monday off regardless what happens anyway, and then we'll get ourselves ready by the following Friday, for whoever we play. And we're starting at home, so that's another positive. But the only way we'll sit a bunch of guys out is if there's no way that we can win a banner on Sunday. And last year was, we had everything locked up, so our final game we sat guys and rested them, and kind of went from there.
And playing off that last comment, it's not hard to get motivated, obviously, because, like you said, it sets up naturally to have a lot of motivation to play for, potentially on a Sunday, getting a regular season pennant, whereas last year, like you said, things were kind of wrapped up early. Do you want your team obviously playing at a high as well going into the postseason? Because the next weekend it's game 1 against either Salmon Arm or Trail.
Yeah, it's been a funny year for everybody this year. You look around the league and it's all of a sudden you snap your fingers and the season's gone by, and we just have to make sure no matter who we play that our systems are in check. We know how we want to play. Our energy level needs to be high, and we need to execute. And no matter who it is, we can't sit back and wait for something to happen. We need to initiate what's going to happen. And so that Friday, whoever, if it's Salmon Arm, if it's Trail, it's going to be the same mandate.
And it'll be an interesting weekend. Both teams bring out the best in these, Trail and Vernon. That does it for here on our show, wrapping up the regular season. We'll talk playoff hockey coming up next week on Coach's Corner. I'd like to thank everybody here. You've been watching from the Best Damn Sports Bar. This has been Coach's Corner. Talk to you next week.
Coach's Corner has been a presentation of the Penticton VEES. Production services provided by Groovy Productions and Synergy Imaging. I'm Wayne Williams. And remember, everyone, help control the pet population. Have your pet spayed or neutered.